Hi, my name is Irene Marshall, and I've been helping people get jobs for 20 years. So I want to tell you a couple of stories about situations that I was in for interviews where some kind of differences between cultural norms actually became problematic. So I used to be a recruiter, and what would happen is somebody would come to the lobby, introduce themselves to the receptionist, who would then call me, say, "Okay, your guy's here in the lobby." I would go and introduce myself, and then we go to interview. So one of the times that same thing happened, and I put my hand out to shake hands, just normal with the person, and didn't think anything about it. But he was really, really stiff and uncomfortable. And I noticed it. I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe he's just nervous. I don't know. I'll find out when we talk. So we went back to the interview room and we were talking, and he was great. He wasn't nervous at all. He just seemed like, like he would be normally. So at the end of the interview, I said to him, let me ask you a question. You just seem so different in both places. What is that about? He said, well, actually, I grew up from Pakistan. I'm not supposed to touch your hand because you are not a woman in my family. I said, oh, okay. I've heard of that is an issue sometimes. And I said, so what would have happened so that we would not have had that awkward situation? He said, I would have been taught as etiquette in Pakistan, I should not put out my hand. So what is normal and expected in the United States for, proper etiquette of meeting someone is you put your hand out to shake hands. In his, it was like not okay at all. So that was one situation where it just made a difference because my first impression of him was difficult. So then another time I had it where something happened within the United States. A hiring manager was in our office. I was bringing people into the office for him to interview them there. So he interviewed some people and he came back and he said, you know what? I don't remember the lady's name, but I am not going to be able to hire her. And I said, so how come? He said, well, she is totally inappropriate in her speech. She's saying honey and darling and sweetheart. He said, that is like horrible. She can't be in an office like that. I cannot hire her. And the issue was she was from the Deep South. And we're in the San Francisco area. And I know that speech, colloquial speech is just different in parts of the country. In this case, it did get in the way of the interview. So I had two different situations where, what happened just in terms of etiquette got in the way. So the thing is this, I don't think there's a straight answer. I wish I could say, you do this, you do this, you do that to, keep this from being a problem. I don't think there's an issue. I don't know what to do. So I think the only thing really can happen is to be aware. I'm doing this little video here so that maybe you could become more aware. Even if you work in a part of the country where maybe it's not as such of a diverse population. So I am an interview coach. This is the type of guidance that I'm able to give people. If you've learned something and you think I might be able to help you, you can schedule a no-charge appointment at my website, which is toolsfortransition.com, TOOLSFOR transition.com. You'll be able to go ahead and schedule a call. Again, there's no charge. My name is Irene Marshall, and I hope I hear from you. Bye-bye.